guys, so today I'm going to be doing an FAQ all about my septum piercing that I actually recorded. I think it was 2 videos ago, but there will also be a link in the description. In that video I asked you guys if you had any questions, and if you did, to leave them in the comments down below, and I'm going to be answering them today, as well as just giving an overall procedure and just basically all about my septum. So first I thought I'd give just an overall procedure and what happened, and then I'm going to answer individual questions that both you and everyone else has. So I've been wanting to get my septum pierced for over a year now, and I've always been considering it. However, I know it's really judged because you're known as like a bull, and although it is kind of coming into culture more and more, like a lot of celebrities are getting it and it's getting more popular, I still felt like I'd be very judged if I got it. I don't think you should do anything on other people's terms. I think you should do things for yourself. So I knew I wanted to get it. However, I was thinking maybe I will when I turn 18 or once I get into college and I'm away from the high school. Because I go to a private Christian one, I wasn't sure if this was gonna be, I know they'll let me have it. It'll definitely stand out. I asked my parents what they thought, and my stepdad completely said no. Of course, he said, you know, do whatever you want. However, he doesn't like the piercing. My mom just was like, whatever you want, and my dad is pretty much the same thing. I know my dad kind of likes the look of it now, of course, but at the time he was like, I don't know. So what made me get it is I just really kept wanting it, and I wasn't giving up, so I just figured I was going to get it when I turn 18 on my 18th birthday, which is in October, which is soon enough, so I was like, I'll just get it when I turn 18, and that way, you know, my parents don't really have to be involved in case they're not all supportive about it, and so that's what I decided. But then I got to thinking, if I didn't like it, and if, let's say, my school for some reason didn't allow it, it would be nice to have a healing period where once I get to school, it'll be healed so I can flip it up and down, which I'll talk about later. So I was like, well, I kind of want to get it over the summer. And if I already know I want to get it, why wait longer if I've been already thinking about it for this long? I've been doing a lot of research, so I know I want this. It's just a matter of time. So finally I was talking to my dad about it, and I was just joking around, and I was like, oh, we should go to Holy Mackerel, which is where I got it pierced. I'll talk about that again in a little bit. And my dad's like, you still want it? And I was like, yes. And he's like, fine. Should we get it right now? And I was like, I mean, sure. And then we ended up getting it the next day because I was so like shocked that he's just like, okay, want to get it? And I was like, okay, because I was just joking around with him, like saying, oh, look it, because we drove by it or something like that. So I decided to get it at the Holy Mackerel by Verno was the piercer. You guys saw in the video. He also did my nostril, and he's amazing at piercings. He really knows what he's doing. I don't know if I said, but they're in St. Paul, Minnesota, so if you guys are near the area, I definitely suggest it. So once I decided to get it, we went in, and we didn't have to wait very long, and since I'm already in their system, like, we didn't have to bring my birth certificate or anything. But since we'd already been there before, I was already in the system, so all I needed was to fill out some paperwork, obviously, for the septum. They were all out of silver jewelry for this, because one thing they recommended is not to get a horseshoe. So either get one like this, where it's just a single ring all the way around, or get a retainer and flip it up. And that's because they said, of course, if you want to get it pierced with a curved barbell or a horseshoe, you totally can. However, they strongly don't recommend it because otherwise you're always going to be moving it, trying to equal it out. He's like, you know, every time you're going to take a selfie, you're going to want to straighten it out, and you're always going to play with it. So he's like, we're either going to get it pierced, flipped up so you don't even touch it, or you can get a ring. And I decided to get a ring because it's like, if I'm going to get it pierced, I want to see the piercing. If you know, before I had my silver hoop in my nose, I had the black one, same one like this, but basically in my nose. And that was kind of like my signature thing. Everyone was like, oh, Ericka has the black nose ring. So then I thought I'd just kind of stick to what I had originally and get a black ring in my septum. So then I decided to get the black ring, and so I just had to wait a little bit, and then as you can see in that video, he got piercing. Now, one thing that really sucked is I have a deviated septum, which means my nose, if you feel inside your nose, you have the hard cartilage part, and then you have the sweet spot, or the kind of the gooey wiggly part right at the end. My septum is kind of crooked. That's why my nostrils, I don't know if you can see, they're kind of weird shaped, and they're like triangles. If you Google deviated septum, you'll be able to see it. Your nose is kind of sideways, and the septum, or the cartilage part, is lower. So for him, it was very difficult to pierce because my nose was crooked already because of that, because the septum is all weird. So people were asking on that video, that was one question, what happens if you have a deviated septum. You can get it, however, it's a lot harder to pierce, and some piercers just pierce through the cartilage, which I'm very glad he didn't. However, I think mine's crooked, and that's not Verno's fault because I don't think it was crooked when he pierced it, or I'm pretty sure it wasn't at all. But he said if it healed weird, we're gonna come back in and re-pierce it. So I think I'm going to do that. So I might make a quick video explaining if I do like a piercings video or something. I will show you guys what I mean. So do you see how this side's a little farther up than this side, I believe it is? It's kind of crooked, and so I emailed him and he said I can come in and get it re-pierced. So that's pretty much the overall kind of procedure, so then I thought I'd get into the frequently asked questions. So of course everyone asks, what's the pain on a 1 to 10 scale, la-di-da. This is something, I have a very low pain tolerance, means all the things hurt me, even like a punch to the arm. However, with piercings, I think I have a pretty, like, they don't hurt that much. Like, they hurt, but it's nothing that I would not get it for. It really wasn't too bad. I have some things are hard for me to remember, so I can't really remember what the pain was like. But it definitely was not 5 out of 10. It was very lower. I'd say like 3 out of 10. Some people say septums hurt really bad. Some people, they don't hurt at all. It just depends. Everybody's bodies are different, but for me, it really didn't hurt at all. Obviously it hurt, but it didn't hurt as much as I was expecting, and he didn't use a clamp or anything, and I know people say that's like one of the worst parts, so I think one of the worst parts is when he's going from the needle to the ring, just because it's like transferring and it's kind of like, ugh, but it really wasn't bad for me at all. How was it compared to my nose piercing? I think my nose piercing was worse because when you get your nose pierced anywhere in here, your eyes water because it's so connected and stuff, so don't like think you're a baby or anything. Like, people are like, oh, my eyes watered. I didn't wear makeup, so it's not like makeup was running. Like, I knew they were gonna water. I really think the nostril hurt more. However, the nostril didn't hurt that much either, maybe 4 or 5 out of 10, but the septum was easier for me. It was probably one of my easiest piercings other than my lobes. Also, someone asked, is it better or worse than your ears, or how is it compared to your ear piercings? I got my ears pierced when I was very young, and then I re-pierced my doubles, but I really can't say, I can't answer that because I have no idea. I don't remember my ears really. Someone asked how I prepare for the piercing. You should eat something like, I think it's within 4 or 3 hours of getting the piercing, so I just had like a little granola bar kind of thing. So you should eat something, and then how did I personally prep? I guess just research and really know what you're getting into, and research what jewelry you want, and research, you know, what place. Obviously I knew what place and I had an idea of what jewelry, but I had to make a quick decision, but I'm very glad with it. But yeah, I guess there isn't much to prepare. Just, yeah, eat something before, and then I took some Advil, but that's because I was just having cramps, so I had to anyways. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's not much for me. I just kind of go in and get it, and that's about it. What was the cost of my piercing? I did pay for my own, however, I can't really remember. I think it was like $80. But I can't remember now. So it was under $100, but it's because this is like a special. I really can't remember. I'm sorry. It really differs, so it's kind of like the cost is irrelevant because it varies from each place to place what jewelry. So if you buy your own jewelry, it'll be cheaper. However, then, you know, the piercer might not be familiar with it, so I have no idea. But I think it was under $100. What did my parents think? How did I convince them? They didn't take much convincing. I just asked, and they're like, okay. And then when I came home, they were fine with it. So didn't really have to convince them. What do my parents think? Now my mom really likes it. She likes the black and stuff. My stepdad just, I don't know, I haven't really asked. And then my dad, I know, he likes it, I think. So yeah, it really didn't take much for me to convince them. The aftercare, for healing time, it takes 10 weeks, which is very fast for it to, like, before I can change it and stuff. And so I'm probably going to go to him, and then, because for my piercer, you visit after 10 weeks to make sure everything's fine. Like when I got my nose ring, we changed it to a smaller thing because, you know, it swells. So he has me come back for like a checkup, and so he said in 10 weeks I'll be able to change it. And then aftercare, so you don't really want to, like, I know some people say like stick Q-tips in sea salt water, and then, you know, Verno said not to really get inside your nose too wet because, you know, your nostril doesn't like being wet, and then it'll just cause like build up and stuff. So what I do is I take 1 liter of Aquafina, and I take one, and he said Aquafina, so a 1 liter bottle, which is a little bit bigger than the regular one, and you can find Aquafina anywhere, and 1 teaspoon of sea salt, not table salt, sea salt. And you put that in, and then I take a little bit, put it in like a coffee mug, microwave it for a little bit so it's warm, like 30 seconds. Then I put in 4 cotton rounds. This is what he said, and this is what I did for all my other piercings, just so you know. And stretching my ears. You put 4 cotton rounds in, and you take 2 cotton rounds at a time, and for the septum, you just place it on your nose. And when I changed this, I had some trouble, so I also kind of did it, wrapped it around so it was on my nostril and my septum. But you just place it on your septum. You don't want to take it and like stuff it up your nose. Just place it, and then once that gets room temperature, put the 2 cotton rounds in, get the 2 that were soaking, do that, and keep doing that until, for like 10 minutes or so, or just till the water gets like cold. It helps a lot. It's very soothing. And then you can, he said, if you know you have like gunk and stuff, because I know like you can get kind of like boogers around it and stuff, just take a Q-tip, dip it in the sea salt, just room temperature, and just kind of clean in there. But you don't want to like just stick it up there, and then I take the opposite side of the Q-tip, the dry side, and clean, dry it off a little bit. Because he said you don't really want to get your nose all wet in there, because I guess it just doesn't like it. So that's pretty much the aftercare. You don't clean it because, like I said, you don't want a lot of water getting in there. So pretty much the sea salt, and that's it. You can't swim and stuff. I might have gone to the pool a few times because we went to a water park, but it really wasn't bad at all. So yeah. This wasn't a question, but mine bled a lot after I got it pierced, and so just letting you know, it might bleed, it might not bleed. I forgot to say that before. Jewelry, you can pick the jewelry. I picked mine. I'm sure piercers might refuse if you ask, like, hey, can I get this? They might be like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm sure if I really wanted a curved barbell, they'd let me, but I just listen to them because they're the professionals, and if you really don't like it, just flip it up until it's all healed, then change it. So yeah, you can pick the jewelry. This is what I picked. I'm not sure what it is, but it's this, I don't know. Have I gone there before? Yes, I got my nostril and my cartilage. My cartilage was not done by Verno, and I had to take it out because it sucked. But I'm never getting a cartilage piercing again. Someone said they get quiet before their piercings too, and I just want to say, yeah, when I got it, like the contrast between the black septum and the silver nose ring, I was like, oh, that's weird. And then once I changed it, it looked great, I think. But yeah, I just get quiet, and I don't know, like right before it, I get kind of like, like ooh in my stomach. But then afterwards, I don't know, I'm just quiet, like. Someone said, like, what are you supposed to do, praise them? And I agree, like, I don't know, I'm just like, oh, cool, thank you, and like, afterwards I said thank you a bunch and stuff, so that's just how I reacted. I don't know, that's just how I am. And then someone asked, just as random, would I ever get an eyelid piercing? I looked that up. No, I get an eyelash in my eye, and my eye's like, the floodgates open. Why would I have a little metal thing? No eyelid piercings for me, personally. I guess this is a question that I asked before in a video, and so I'll answer myself. Have I gotten judged? I haven't gone to school, so I haven't like faced all, everybody, but all my friends are totally, like, at first they're like, oh, okay, but now they're used to it. They're totally fine with it, and I don't know. I don't really think I have. I'm sure if I like go to my grandparents' house, they're gonna be like, oh, but I haven't visited them since I've gotten it. But yeah, I mean, I sometimes get like looks, but not bad looks, because also, I don't know, I just feel like it's so petite you can't really even see it, so I don't know. I think it's totally fine, and if you want to get it, because in my mind it was totally built up and I was totally overreacting, and then I got it and I was like, okay, I'll do that a million times again. So I think those are all the questions that I've gotten. Oh, another thing is don't pierce your own septum and go to a professional place. Don't get it pierced with a gun, which I don't even know if that's possible. And if your piercer does use a clamp, that's fine. Mine just didn't because he said it was deviated that... Oh, also, someone noticed that... Here, I'll show you. If you can see, I'm not sure. My septum is kind of pierced very far to the tip of my nose, and that is because my deviated septum. He said he would have liked to pierce it farther back, but just because I had a deviated septum, he needed to pierce it farther up to the tip of my nose rather than farther back. I'd like it farther back too, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, I hope you guys liked this video and hopefully it clarified things for you. And yeah, if you have any other questions, hopefully you don't, because I answered all of them. So hopefully this video cleared things up for you. And also, I know I'm going to get questions. These are still 2 gauge. I just have Chaos software ones and they make them look bigger, but they're still a 2 gauge, don't worry. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this new thing in my nose, because I know I do. And it did take a little getting used to because it like balances on your nose, but yeah, I don't know, I really like it. So So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!